it says, so our confidence interval, we will be 95% confident that the true percentage of uh, the GPAs who maybe were like above a 3.0 is between, um, 50 colleges and, 65 colleges or something like that is maybe how we would answer that. The specific formula, the N is just the number of people in the study. So since in the college one, I think there was 70, is that right? 70 different colleges. That's the number that we would want to use there for our N value. So this all seems kind of heady until we do an actual example here. So um, it's saying it's nearly spring break, and the local newspaper takes a poll on where readers plan to go for spring break. Of the 271 people, so that is my sample. Of those 271 people, 32% plan to stay at home, 28% are going to Florida, 23% are undecided, and the other 17 are going elsewhere. What is the 95% confidence interval for those going to Florida? So that 95% confidence interval, we're using that equation up there, plus or minus 100 over square root n. You'll see what the plus and minus does for a second. So if it says those going to Florida, okay, we were at 28%, and we're going to add something to get the upper bound. And we will subtract something to get that lower bound. So that something is the actual equation right there, that margin of error. So my n value, I've got plus or minus 100 over the square root of 271, which as I look at that, when I plug it into my calculator, I've got 100 on top, obviously, and then the square root of 271. And when I divide those, I get 6.07. So for my upper bound, I'm going to have 28 plus 6.07, or it says round to the nearest tenth, so I'll do 6.1, which was 34.1. And then the lower bound will be, when I subtract those, I get 21.9%. So sometimes they use like parentheses or another way to talk about it. So specifically, sorry, I'm getting a phone call that I can't answer. A lot of times you'll see it, like this 21.9 comma 34.1. The answer key doesn't have it like that, but it's basically saying we're pretty sure it's going to fall within that category right there. That's, again, we would say we're 95% confident that if I surveyed 1,000 people in Fort Wayne, that it would be in between 21% and 34%. The more people you survey, the more accurate that number is going to be.
Quick question: are we going to be able to have formula